Okay, what is up, guys? Frugal BC here, and I made this title, and I think there's like so many things that we can talk about today. That's it's with Algorand and with Hedera too. I got a bunch of Hedera news lined up as well, but the big thing is Algorand. Sean Vogel saying, "Hey, what's up, Sean? And welcome to the show. Glad you're here." And yeah, guys, be sure to give a big shout out. Let me know where you're watching from. I always like to hear that kind of stuff. So. Yeah, a ton of news. I was originally going to do an afternoon live with John from Non-Fungible Domains. He had a pretty spicy Twitter post earlier today, or last night actually, and I thought it was pretty good. And I had some stuff, some bones to pick with it, maybe for lack of a better word. But I thought it was good stuff to think about too. So we will get to all that. But yeah, some really great news around Pera Wallet going live, some stuff with crypto.com. And we got Sean Claus, two Seans in the chat here. Here in the wasteland of Northeast Ohio. Well, I'm in the Midwest too, my friend, a little north of you. That's all I'll say. But yeah, I've been, gosh, when's the last time I think I was a kid last time I was through Ohio. Funny thing is, I actually went down to Iowa and I saw Taco. I saw Taco at his taco stand. I don't know if you guys know the Taco Coin. If you follow that on Twitter, actually paid in. I think I paid in Taco Coin actually for my burrito there, and that was kind of fun. I did a little video on it. El Misterioso saying Chi-Town in the house. Hey, welcome. Well, I am closer to you than you might think. I'll just say that. Not saying where I am though. Just for I don't know. It's probably not. Honestly, it probably doesn't matter at this point, but maybe someday it will. Yeah, I thought it might be fun to go around that area and do a meetup or something. But yeah, so Sean Costa is hoping to see Algorand hit that $3 to $5 range. I'll tell you what, I've been doing some calculations because I might be switching over to Ready Pools from Tiny Man Liquid Staking. Very, very much considering it just because of the transparency. It's a lot more transparent. I think it'll work a lot better. So anyway, plenty of places. There's so many different directions we can go today. Lots of stuff to talk about. Obviously, we'll get into the charts as we always do, all that fun stuff. And we got it's just going to be a lot of crypto news, a lot of Algorand news, and a lot of Hedera news today is what we're going to do. So plenty to get into. Like I said, let me know where you're from. I always love to hear where my peeps are from. I know I had a lot of people say they were fans from Poland, which I thought was pretty cool. Any Estonian fans out there thinking about a family trip to Estonia? Wasn't really going to travel this year, but opportunity came up, so that might be kind of fun. Or Latvia or that area. I think we're going to go that little do a little tour. So anyone's from that area, let me know. Let's see. Housekeeping. Well, I just want to give a shout out to our sponsors before we start the rest of the stream. We got a big shout out to Non-Fungible Domains. Like I said, John and I were going to talk about his post because it was pretty spicy and it was very thought provoking. And I wanted to have him on because there were so many things I wanted to think about with this post. Kyle Kupia here in Massachusetts. Hey, welcome. Oh, Brent Wookie says from Scotland. That's cool, man. Scotland. I'd like to go see Scotland someday. Massachusetts, I believe JT Invests in You lives in Massachusetts. We were just talking about trying to get him to move to the Midwest and save some money, man. You can get houses for way cheaper than you can out there, I'll tell you that. Washington State on the other side. I've visited Washington State. That's cool. Welcome, Golden Child. Oh, we got Australia. Manabotas. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. From Australia. Very cool. Very cool. Never been to Australia. It seems like it'd be a cool place to go visit. Yeah, so I wanted to bring him on to talk about this post, and we'll dive into it later on the live stream for sure because I think it's pretty interesting. But he had some second thoughts about coming on today. I think he wanted to think about it a little, spend a little more time thinking about what he said. I think it was a good post. I just didn't agree with all of it. Oh, we got a California person. Welcome, Tyler. Welcome, Tyler Tops. Thanks for being here today, California. I've only been through the airport, and you see a lot of stuff about California in the news, like especially like San Francisco. I will say though, it was just hard to deny that there's kind of a vibe in California. Yeah, I could see myself getting into it, even though I wouldn't enjoy the tax bill. Oh, Kyle, yeah, Kyle's Polish, but you work in Oh, you work in Boston. Oh, nice, nice, very cool. Kyle works says he works in Boston alongside of Algorand. Very nice. Yeah, I'm Polish heritage with my last name Kowalski, so Polish, German, and a little bit of French Canadian. My great grandmother was French Canadian. Gabriel asks, "Is Stacy out?" I don't think so. I don't think so. I think you're the one that always posts like "Fire Stacy Warden," Gabriel. I think you're the one that does that. Um, yeah, it's interesting. There's a big talk about whether the foundation and the technologies, Algorand technologies, should merge, and I don't know. It doesn't sound like a bad idea, in my opinion. Not bad at all. Anyway, so big shout out to Non Fungible Domains, our sponsor, as well as Marcus Aurelius. And I know a lot of you guys, and I know a lot of guys like the Marcus coin. We get some shout outs in the chat for Marcus and for Non Fungible Domains because I think they both do great work. And it's funny because when people reach out, and occasionally they do, well, I get a lot of like scam ones in my email, and those are all just silly. But when people reach out about sponsorship, and if they're in the Algorand ecosystem, the first thing I tell them is, just so you know, I'm going to do some vetting because when I work with, if I'm someone is sponsoring the channel, it's not just about money for me. I want to make sure that they're a valuable project. And so what I like about, first off, non-fungible domains, they just provide a great service. It's pretty straightforward. I like that they have a no token philosophy. Like, hey, we're just providing the service. That's what we're providing you. So you pay to have your .algo address, and that's the end of it. I think that's great. And with Marcus Aurelius, like, he's got a mission. It's not just about making a meme coin. He's trying to spread the message about stoicism. He's on a mission to do that. I think that's great. You can check out their website and their Discord and all that fun stuff. I just think it's a cool project, and I hold a little bit of Marcus. I actually use their Ready pool too, and I'll probably have to. I think I have to if I switch to full Ready pool for my Algorand rewards. I'm probably going to switch to. I'll probably have to divide it between NFTs and with Marcus's, and I am thinking about doing that. I did some math, and right now I wouldn't be making as much as I am with Tiny Man, but if the price goes up, I'll be making a lot more. Kind of. It's complicated because Tiny Man LSD, the problem is it's just not transparent. You don't know how much you make, and you have to it's just really hard. Tyler Top says, "Do you remember Adam Bergman? Do you know what happened to him?" So actually, Adam and I, back in 2022, we both went to Decipher, and he actually coordinated with me so we could stay in the same hotel. Not in the same room. We had our own rooms. But we stayed in our own hotel, and he would come over to my room usually in the morning, and we'd hang out and chat. He was a cool guy. I don't know. People either loved or hated him. I thought I actually liked him quite a bit. He came on my show. Like I said, we shared stayed in the same hotel in Decipher so we could hang out, and so I guess he just wanted to spend more time with his kids and kind of give up the content creation game. So I guess he kind of passed the torch on to me, so to speak. I think he'd be okay with me saying that. No, I liked Adam. I thought he did a good job, and he was a good content creator, I think. And yeah, it's too bad he's gone. Like, a lot of people are gone. There was a guy I really liked early on. Yeah, he was cool. You two taught me about algo the most. Yeah, that's awesome, man. Yeah, I liked Adam quite a bit. He was a good dude. There was a guy early on. He was a rapper as well as he was really into Algorand, and he disappeared like even before Decipher 2022. He was bigger than me at the time, and then I think he got kids, and I know he had another kid, and that seemed to be the end of it. Jacob said, "How's quitting your job and living out your goals going?" It's pretty good, man. It's pretty good. I appreciate you asking. So, just to be clear, like YouTube is kind of like it's still a side job for me. It's not my main source of income. Most of my income comes from my local news business. And, it's always weird when you give up a full-time income, and I went from making like way more than I needed because well, my name's Frugal BC. It's not, I didn't just come out with that out of nowhere. I'm live a pretty simple life, I think. I just don't I don't feel the need to spend money a lot. I just I like hiking, I like mountain biking, and mountain biking. I paid a lot for my mountain bike, but then once I paid that, it's not like I got to pay every time, other than a little bit of gas to get out to the mountain bike park, and maybe some ice cream afterwards. And we were going to this local ice cream chain, and then it got so expensive, we started going to Sam's Club and getting their sundaes, which I don't know if you guys know, it's like $1. You can get a Sam's Club sundae for $1.69, and it's like pretty tasty. I thought it was pretty good. Or you can get like I think you can get 2 slices of pizza and a sundae for like $2.50. It's crazy. I don't have a Sam Club membership, but the people I mountain bike with do, so we go in and get that. And yeah, so like having crypto rewards is nice because that's just a little extra padding, a little extra money coming in I can use or not. I can just leave it there, and it's like an extra source of money I can draw from, but I haven't really needed to. The one thing that really got me is the tax bill. Yeah, so anyway, big shout out to our sponsors because they make this possible. And like I said, I vet them very carefully. It's people. They don't have to be docs necessarily. I know who John is. I don't know who Marcus is, but I do know. But both have a very good reputation in the community, and that's the really important part. Yeah. So gosh, where should we start? Well, let's start with the charts, and we'll just go. We'll look at all of them overall. Oops, one moment here. I should say, I gotta remember to set that up beforehand. And let's make this, oops. Let me make that a little smaller. Oops, there we go. Maybe a little bit. All right. Yeah, so Bitcoin's sitting at 103. First off, let's check out this fear and greed index, because man, we've been in greed territory for a while now, for a hot minute. And this is surprising. This is different because just a month ago we were in this orange territory at least. Sometimes we were even in this red territory of extreme fear. But we've been in this light green territory of regular greed, not extreme greed, but regular greed. And so, and I don't know if you know this, but Bitcoin has been over 100,000 for over a week now, which is the longest it's been. Ice Age says, was chatting on Kick, no action. Oh, so I came here. I'm sorry about that. That's weird. No chats came through. Well, the only thing I can think of is sometimes it kicks itself off and comes back on. Let me see for a second here. Hold on. I'm not gonna. Because I'm actually streaming on Kick and Twitch as well. Oh yeah, here you are. Ice Age says, how do you survive the storms? Yesterday was crazy here. Yeah, it was pretty wild, but nothing too scary, just kind of just a little bit scary, I guess. You needed that rain, that's for sure. Yeah, I wonder why that didn't come through. That's really strange. Usually it does. It does say 2 of 3 on my little chat thing, so I don't know if... Oh, it says there's an error. Shoot. That's annoying. I don't know what's up with that. I was wondering why it said 2 of 3, but the streams were working. But it's something with the chat's just not working. So sorry about that, Ice Age. maybe that's the reason. Maybe it's one more reason I do need to switch to Twitch. So I'm testing right now Twitch and Kick to see if any of them get any traction. So far, mostly YouTube gets traction because I want to go back to X too. All right. Anyway. So yeah, Bitcoin has been over 100,000 for over a week. That's a good sign, I think. And Ethereum's been kind of taking off a little bit too. I get a little signs of life there. I know a lot of people were calling it down and out for Ethereum. And I will say, like, I'm still shocked people build on Ethereum. I can understand from the user base side, but don't you want your stuff to work? I'd say says no worries, glad to support on YouTube. Yeah, on YouTube, yeah, appreciate that. Appreciate you being here, whichever channel you choose. It is a bummer though, because I do want, I do want to try to get one of those platforms working, I guess, like a better way to put it. Yeah, Solana up to 172. It's nice to see Solana back up there. Like I said, I bought most of my Solana under 20 bucks, so that's sitting pretty for me. Well, let's see who's doing the best on the 24-hour. Dog with hat going back up. Ooh, but man, I lost my hat. I lost my shirt with dog with hat. I just bought a little for fun. So Hyperliquid, pay attention to Hyperliquid. They're going to come up in our later segment, so keep an eye out for that story. Yeah, that's a new one. I've seen it a couple times now, but that's a new one to the top 100. EOS. I heard EOS is going to be a rebranding. I forgot what they called it. I don't know. Brett, Ave. Well, Helium, I'm glad to see Helium rising because I've been using Helium Mobile, which, guys, if you want like a cheap phone service, speaking of being frugal, cheap phone service, Helium is like 20 bucks a month, and honestly, it's effectively free if you turn on the tracking. If you help it track hotspots while you walk, which I've never had to, I almost never miss them because it's a pretty low bar and I walk a lot. It's basically free. I think this last month I got it for free. I should be able to have enough for this month, especially if the price goes up a little bit. It's like a free phone. I mean, how do you not take advantage of that? People paying $60, $80 a month for a phone when you can get it for free or 20 bucks at the most. I think they added some new plans though, so it might be a little bit different, but it's still really inexpensive. It's kind of like a Mint Mobile, except it's crypto based and you can pay in crypto and you can earn crypto by tracking, so you can do it for free. I should probably have an affiliate link or something with them. In fact, maybe I'll look into that. Yeah, Walrus, I don't know. Maker, yeah, Maker's been around for a while. Caspa's up there. There's Sui. Sui was actually over $4 for a little while there. Michael says he's not a fan of the hat, but if you like it, that's cool. I do like it. Yeah, I need more neutral hats because the ones that I have are all Algorand. Someone should send me like, an NFT one would be great because like it doesn't necessarily signal that blockchain. Anyway, it's funny because I've been wearing this one for a while. VeChain, Pi. Actually, Pi is a funny story because I actually own a lot of Pi. You could mine it for free for a long time before it was on mainnet. So yeah, I have a pretty, but I don't know. There's a bunch of stuff you got to do with it. I just find it kind of annoying. So whatever. I shouldn't say a bunch. It's like 300 some. For a while there, I had over $1,000 worth of Pi, but not much to do with it. Well, what happened with our? Let's go back to the regular one because I don't know what happened with all our favorite coins. Wait, oops, I did it on name, not market cap. Here we go. Yeah, so Hedera back under 20 cents a little bit. Not the best 24 hours or week for that matter. Been kind of flat. Near Protocol still under $3. I mean, that got up to like $7. That's crazy. Ondo Finance. I want to dive into Ondo Finance a little more. I think it's an interesting chain. Apparently they have tokenized treasuries, which I think is a really interesting use case. They seem to be focusing like specifically on tokenizing financial instruments, which we're going to get into that a little later when we talk about this post, because one of the criticisms that comes up later is that Algorand maybe isn't specialized enough. Some of these other chains that are coming out now, they're like solving specific problems. Which is interesting. Yeah, but Polygon was one of my terrible bets. I'm way down on Polygon. All right, Algorand, yeah, up 3% on the day, but down 2% on the week, sitting at 22.85, and we'll dive into that a little more later. Cosmos down under $5. Man, last time it pumped to like 20. I think it got up around $30. And yeah, I'm looking forward to that because I get a nice little bag of Cosmos. Don Tekun says, sorry about that. Says, Frugal, what is your biggest crypto bag, coin bag? Is it Algorand? Yes, with a caveat. It is my biggest bag actually. But it's not really a bag per se. Like so all the other coins I buy just to, basically for short-term investment, except for Bitcoin. In fact, Bitcoin, I'm now switching. I'm not going to be switching to a dollar cost average strategy from now on, and just accumulating. That's my goal with Bitcoin now. I've done plenty of profit taking on it, but I think I'm just gonna buy, and I'm just gonna buy when it's low, and basically just keep accumulating. But Algorand is all like everything is in DeFi, so it's like, yes, it is my biggest holding, but mostly because I use it for DeFi. So if I had another platform I'd rather use for DeFi, I'd probably do that instead. So yeah, it is my biggest one, but it's my biggest one because I prefer it for DeFi because the platforms like work well, the fees are low, and I do have. I was talking about how I'm probably going to switch from liquid staking to a straight up ready pool because I'll be in a better position to take advantage of Algorand's price increase, which I do think is coming. Yeah, I don't know if there's anything else in the top 100 I care about a lot. Immutable X is interesting. It was a good example. Immutable X was a good example of like when blockchain just is terrible, has terrible UI. Because I was playing Gods Unchained and I didn't play for a little while, and then I came back, and then they forced you to connect your MetaMask wallet. I hate MetaMask so much, by the way. And it was crazy. There was like 11 steps I had to do, and then I got to like step 6, and it said I couldn't do step 6 because I hadn't done step 6. It was like infinite loop of you're screwed. So I'm like, yeah, never mind. I'm good. I'll go do stuff on Algorand. I got some Algorand gaming news too, which is I'm kind of excited about actually. We'll get to that. I feel like I've talked about a lot of things that are upcoming. let's look at Algorand charts here in a little more depth. First off, let's do our classic RSI and Bollinger Bands. And how's that been behaving? And this is on the 4-hour chart. Yeah, so this makes sense. We were below 30. Not that a huge dip that you usually see. When you see it like way below 30, it's spring loaded. It's gonna pop off, especially when it's at the bottom of the Bollinger Band. And it's just been riding the top for a while. Came back to the bottom, popped up again. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what it does. I wouldn't expect too much price action until we drop maybe a little more, according to that. And then let's check out. Actually, is this what we got? We got the SMA close. Can you clear the indicators? I kind of wish they'd let you. Let's just reset here then. I like to look at the smooth moving average. This is my new thing. And yeah, we're actually under the smooth moving average, so that's pretty interesting. One of my strategies around Bitcoin is to buy when it's below the SMA. In fact, you could probably do a buy low, sell high, sell above the SMA strategy, but mostly it's just so I'm accumulating at lower levels overall. Even though, like, obviously they're going to be time like yeah, here you're above. This would be more than if I bought here, even if it's at the SMA. But it's the idea is like overall you're buying less. So you might hold off. You're going to buy and it's like above the moving average. You might wait till it pops back below. I'm not like super convinced on that. I want to test it out more. This is one of my frustrations. Tiny has been generally around the 2 to 2.5 cents level, and it's been closer to 2. It was actually up to 2.5 for a little while, and then back down. Why do I care about that? Because the rewards on liquid staking on Algorand are in tiny, so if tiny is lower, I get less rewards every day, which sucks. Really too bad, yeah. And then we got, yeah, Chips had a nice little pump up there. Pokegold, DeFi token. DeFi token, but kind of flat. Not always a bad thing. Votecoin is up, doing pretty well. We got everyday Algorand in here. Votecoin is his thing. Vestige, native token of this platform, kind of flat overall. Had a nice little pump in the midweek. Compex token. Compex guys seem really nice. They watch the channel. And Munko had a nice little pump. Look at that, 23% over the 24 hours. And yeah, I do have a nice little bag of Munko. In fact, I'm not gonna. Oop, not private. I don't want. I'm gonna pull it up off screen just so I can. Someone sent me Munko. I don't know who sent it. Probably pretty smart. Yeah, so it's doing all right. I got about $80 right now of Munko. This Busk one, I understand. I'm surprised this one's on here because my understanding is this one's kind of a scam. I don't know that for sure, but I've not heard good things. And I actually rejected the Busk that I had sent to me. Which, by the way, I don't know if you guys know this. If you're in Pera Wallet, if you get sent an asset you don't want, you can it goes to your asset inbox and you can reject it. And if you reject it, I probably should move that over a little. Sorry about that. If you reject it, there's Munko and there's Busk, then it actually burns the token and you don't have to have the token, and you actually get a little Algorand for it. So you can actually make money burning tokens, burning unwanted tokens. All right, let's see what is popular is Alpha Arcade, and let's dive into this one a little bit. So it's actually gone up. It had been like almost just completely stable, and they actually purposely did some stuff to some, I think it was some burning mechanisms or whatever. They actually did it. They actually worked really hard to stabilize this coin, and then it kind of went up, and now it's kind of in that stability pattern again. Now, what's cool about Alpha, so if you don't know, Alpha Arcade is the prediction market on Algorand, made by the same team as Lofty AI. And if you hold Alpha, you get rewards in USDC every 3 days. And there was a day where I forgot what percentage it would have been. It would have been a huge percentage. In fact, I can, hold on a second. I'm going to go over this. I'm going to do a video on this soon. This isn't updated, but this is what you're getting every day. It's giving me a sum. You average about a penny a day for $10 worth. And so this is my little experiment. And we'll go back here. I forgot what that came to. I think it was like 5 or 6%, something like that. Not a bad little return just for something you're holding and doing nothing for. You're basically getting a cut of the fees every day. And, you know, people pay fees to buy the token or to make little trades on the platform, to make predictions. And so you get a little cut of that. I kind of like that. That's the model I like. It's basically like a profit sharing model. I think that's the best model in crypto because it's sustainable. You know, if a company is going to make money and they give a little profit to their holders, to their supporters, that's a sustainable model versus like some of these platforms where it's like, well, you're going to earn on this, but that's just so we can get the token out. And once the token's out, it goes away. Or like Tiny Man rewards, you know, it changed because all of a sudden we moved to this model of staking rewards instead. And so, you know, you have this strategy and then it completely changes. So I might put more into Alpha because I think it's kind of a neat little experiment, just getting little bits of USDC every day. Kind of neat. So anyway, I wanted to highlight that because I thought that chart is really interesting too. Mysterioso says, love Alpha. I had to take some profits on it, but I still love it and hold a bunch. Not even 1,000 hodlers yet. Crazy. Yeah, it's awesome. And I love that, you know, I mean, you can take profits on it, but also you have this other mechanism to earn with it, which is pretty cool. So I might put more. That was my little experiment. I like to do little experiments where I just put like $10 in and see what happens. And so far, so good. I might up that today. In fact, I think I will. All right, well, let me take some water here and let's get to the news. I can't believe I didn't, hold on. Let's find this. I should have bookmarked some of these things. Hold on. Well, this is this is the first thing I want to talk about with Algorand and this big news. It's that the Pera card is live. So I put this is a really big deal. Also, yes, it is a really big deal. The Pera Wallet debit card is now live. The only card in crypto with real-time on-chain balance tracking and the ability to withdraw and deposit anytime. Anytime, guys. No sign-up fee, no yearly fee, online and offline payments. Dude. Experience the power of Algorand every day, everywhere you go. Spend wherever MasterCard is accepted, powered by Immersive, which is kind of the company. Hold on a second. It's not going to let me pull that up. Huh, okay. Usually a little preview window comes up. Users in the UK, Germany, Italy, Spain, and New Zealand, get your card today from the link below. And by the way, if you're not in one of those countries, and by good for you guys in the UK, Germany, Italy, Spain, and New Zealand, you guys get this first. That's awesome. I wish it was live in the US. If you guys are interested in this card, you can get on the wait list right now. In fact, otherwise sign up to find out when your card will be available. And by the way, do you want to know how easy it is to sign up? You literally open it in the app. You click join the wait list. You sign the transaction, and boom, you're on the wait list. You can do it right in your Pera wallet. I think this is huge. I've been thinking about like, how am I going to use this? Because this is pretty neat, right? Like you can actually, I have to think about, I have some payment rails that come through USDC on Algorand. So it's going to withdraw the USDC. I think a lot of people were confused when this came out, and they don't say it here in this post, but it's not taking Algorand, it's taking USDC. So you're gonna have to swap. If you got Algorand and you want to spend it, you're gonna want to swap to USDC, or if you take payments in USDC from whatever, you know, you're gonna want to like make sure you got USDC to use it. But you just swap it like you would, you know, just like you would if you had a credit card app on your phone or Apple Pay or whatever. Just a bit, it's gonna work just like MasterCard. I just can't wait to try it out. I wanted to do some content on this. I have an idea for a video I kind of want to make that I think would be really fun, and we'll see. So do check this out. You know, you can check out the Algorand Foundation's post to do that. But I think this is a really good idea, and I think this is huge. I think this will be huge for crypto, and it's really big for Algorand. And also, Pera Wallet, why in the heck are you not following me? Tusk Reaper Gaming says, is there a spend limit? Say I have 400k in USDC. Will it let me spend, say, 100k to buy a car? That's a really good question. I don't know for sure, just to be clear. I'm not 100% sure. But I don't know why it would, because you're spending USDC that you actually have. So it's not, they're not like hoping you're going to pay later. So if it's actually in your account, I don't see why you wouldn't be able to. But I want to say that with the caveat that I don't actually know for sure. That's a really good question, and maybe I'll ask them. And I'd reached right out to Pera Wallet, but they don't follow me. Isn't that crazy? Now the Algorand Foundation follows me, but not Pera Wallet. I think they should follow me. That's just me. Let's go back though, because there was a couple other things. That's my video. Um, this was interesting, and so we covered this earlier in the week. One of my videos, we had Mark, for the CMO of Algorand Foundation, talking about talking about AI and crypto, and we also showed this little demonstration where that a developer did, where there was two AI agents, and the one AI agent paid the other AI agent, and it was all done like, well, as Trump would say, everything's computer. So it was all done. It was all done by the AIs. They just like basically hit start and let them do their thing, which I thought that was really cool. I'm like, also like, man, what a crazy future. Like, we're gonna have robots paying each other without our interference. They're gonna have their own little economy. I don't even know what to say about that. That's crazy. So let's see what Stacy says here, because she spoke at the Joint AI Rush, the AI Rush event in London, and that was May 16th, but that was like UK May 16th. So you guys are, I don't know, you guys are probably at the end of your day, maybe. Well, here's what she said anyway. She said, I made 3 arguments. 1, blockchain is critical for data integrity, re deepfakes. Level 3 agents can only run on crypto rails because they need to have control over their own finances. Exactly. I was saying, like, you have to have blockchain for this. You can't do this on traditional financial rails. You know, the agents just aren't gonna go, hey, I'm gonna send you this thing. Thanks, I'll get it in 2 days. Yeah, no, it's got to be permissionless, because it's got to be fast, and you just don't have time for permission. And since crypto allows for trustless transactions, this makes sense. I think this is where crypto becomes big, and we're going to talk about this later when we get into John's post, because they talk about RWA and AI, and I think it's, you know, Hedera is huge on AI. Like, they're all in on AI. When we get to the Hedera segment, we'll talk about that. Anyway, and then 3, distributed compute is the future, so we aren't overly reliant on 5 large box LLM models. Got a round of applause for number 2. Cool. Yeah, I think all of them deserve a round of applause. I just think that's actually pretty good. By the way, I don't like this photo of her. This is a good photo of her. This one, not so much. She just looks unhappy. Let's see, what else in Algorand? I just want to scroll through. Yeah, this is big. This is from our man MJ saying, breaking, crypto.com adds Algorand USDC support. So that's good. I'm waiting for Coinbase to do this, because it would just be so nice to be able to send, instead of having to convert and then convert again, just allow me to send USDC right over. So, you know, there's not much to this news. They allow it now. Awesome. Very cool. But, you know, it's like one of those things that's really simple. There's not a ton to talk about, but it also is really helpful. So very cool. All right, what else we got? We talked about Pera. Here we can actually see the Pera Wallet being tested. Oh. So they ordered pizza. We can't see it. I thought this was a video. It's not a video. We've seen it being tested. This is actually one of the first use cases. Your food will be delivered to you. You spent $37.29 USDC on your Pera card. By the way, there's a funny meme we'll talk about a little bit. So yeah, I just went through Just Eat, used the Pera Wallet app, and boom, done. So it actually works, guys. You didn't pay 10,000 Bitcoin for it. God, I thought I saw something. It won't show me the thread. So someone was like, "Oh, you wasted all that Algorand, and one day that Algorand's gonna be worth a whole bunch." Well, it didn't actually spend USDC, so was there? I thought there was other Algorand stuff. Oh, and this is interesting. This is like partially related to. This is like partially related to crypto. Now, Sean Ford was the former Algorand CEO. So that was Inc. That was not the foundation, just to be clear. It was Inc. at the time. I think they changed to Tech. Anyway, he is now the CEO of XSY, and they just announced that XSY is launching Unity, a next-gen synthetic dollar designed for smart capital built on AVAX. Mint Unity, earn yield, build TVL. And get a congrats from Stacy. Ibu from Folks Finance, giving some congrats. So nice to see that, nice to see some Algorand people giving a big shout out to Sean. We have to dive into that a little more. It'd be kind of fun to have him on the channel. I asked once and didn't get a response. I thought this one's really cool too. This one's Santolito. I don't know why it's not pulling up. It's not giving me the little previews. But anyway, Algorand just crossed 1 billion in total on-chain asset value. TVL plus stablecoins plus tokenized assets. Imagine fading Algorand right now. Look at that, 1 billion, which includes about 600 million in tokenized assets. A big part of that is Exodus, followed by Lofty and teeny little ones. Let me pull this up. You see this a little better? Okay, I can still do this. I just gotta, we need to take a look at this. I'll just have to move it around when we get there. Can we see the little tiny ones of Vesta, Equity, Mel's Gold? Yeah, you can see a little bit, but not much. TVL, folks leading the way there, followed by Ready Pooling. Like I said, I'm thinking about switching to Ready Pooling. And you can see Pack, Vestige, Tiny Man. I'm surprised Tiny Man's so much smaller than folks. I didn't think it'd be that much of a disparity. Yeah, Vestige is on there, and a whole bunch I can't see. And I'll just, I'll move this over so you guys can see stable coins, which obviously USDC. Still a little, is there still a little Tether? Because I thought Tether discontinued on Algorand. Yeard, there's like 2 different Euro ones, and I once confused him, and the guys got really mad. Probably not really mad, but I was a little surprised that they were not super happy about that. Hold on. All right. Okay, yeah, so I actually don't follow her. She doesn't really talk about shit. Her main thing is like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin, but I'll follow her. What the heck? Cryptophiliac says Adam was a good hype man, but I have a feeling he took a hit on Algo. Yeah, he might have. Hedera stuff. We got a lot of Hedera stuff we're going to get to. And I thought this one was interesting. We can just leave it right here. Yeah, you can see what is dominating DApp activity, and it is TravelX by far. Then Algorand blockchain, then this Warren scam. I get these all the time, by the way. It's weird because you just get these little like tiny bits of Algorand, and they don't add up enough to be good, but otherwise, folks feed Oracle. Yeah, this looks a lot different than it used to. There used to be a lot of other ones. I think Zone used to be in here. I did a little deep dive on Zone. They are gone. They're gone. Is that all my Algorand news? I probably got more in my bookmarks. That's the post. We're going to get to that post. Oh, this is a big one. Exciting news for the Algorand community. Jenny Levin joins as Chief Legal and Operations Officer, bringing top-tier regulatory expertise extensive U.S. policy experience, and strong connections in Washington, D.C. Jenny will lead our legal and policy initiatives to ensure Algorand plays a constructive role in shaping the future of responsible blockchain regulation. She was formerly at Figment. I don't know what that is. She was former assistant U.S. attorney and will lead legal and policy initiatives to ensure Algorand plays a constructive. Well, I'm just reading what was on here. Interesting looking through these. Yeah, people seem happy about the news. Seems good. Like peas and carrots. I don't. Oh, Jay, Forrest Gump. Yeah. Yeah. So interesting. Interesting hire there, and with the regulatory clarity coming, which I hope we should probably follow her, huh? I'll follow her. Followed. With the regulatory clarity coming, it'll be nice to have a compliance officer that can look into this stuff, and hopefully CLOO, Chief Legal and Operations Officer. Someone hopefully work with the new rules and help make sure Algorand is in compliance and ready for this new pro-crypto government, which I think is great, by the way. I'm just going to check in and see if anyone... I feel bad that we missed some chats on Kick, so I'm going to check that before we maybe dive into some Hedera news, and then we're going to get to that post. Nope, same amount. And let me see if anyone on Twitch... I haven't seen Snail today. Snail's usually in the chat, and he sometimes watches on both. He'll watch on Twitch and he'll watch on... Yeah, it looks like it's mostly just me, so... Oh, everyone's on YouTube, but you know what? YouTube is all right. Fisherman's in the chat. Jim Guillaume chat. He says, "Fisherman, yeah, we're gonna talk about your post a little later. I think there's a lot to dive into, and I'll still, if you want to come on stream next month or next week, maybe we'll do that. But right now we're gonna talk some Hedera news. Let me. We got some stuff here to talk about. Well, first off, we got, this is interesting. We got Kevin O'Leary apparently taking a position in Hedera. Mr. Wonderful himself. Let's see what he has to say.
The majority of institutional capital waiting on the wings primarily is interested in Bitcoin. And if you ask a large institution after it's designated a commodity or a security, they're going to put on a 1.5% weighting, and they're going to start with Bitcoin. Now, what happens to the level twos and everything else? I mean, I'm a big shareholder in HBAR. I'm optimistic about the volatility. It's crazy at the price, but I own a bunch of positions, Avalanche, ETH, like everybody else. But that's just diversification. But really, I think what will happen when the regulatory environment is clear and we have designation to security over commodity, the volume of capital that will come into the top 5 tokens is going to be, it's going to be like a vortex sucking cash out of the crap at the bottom. The majority of institutional capital.
Interesting. Let's see. Hold on. Yeah, so I mean, I think that's really interesting because I've heard this from other people who pay attention to institutions and what they're doing. I think a lot of institutions, a lot of investors are sitting on the sidelines waiting for actual clarity, because just signaling that clarity is coming, that's not necessarily enough. They're ready, but they need to see like actual rules on the table, and we're still not there yet. So I think they're waiting for that, and that'll be coming. Once that comes, yeah, I think he's right. I think it's going to be wild. So, hold on to your seats. shout out to Sean for posting that. And this one I thought was pretty interesting too. This is from All In Crypto. I've had some good interactions with him lately. HBAR, hash fear, is that actually spelled right? I don't know. I'm going to assume it's HashFear. HBAR HashFear network may have been shortlisted among other networks to partake in a digital currency project led by the Reserve Bank of Australia. Dive into this one, huh? Yeah, it is HashFear. He just spelled it wrong. Okay. HashFear is on the All In Crypto website. Good for him for having this website. I got to do my Substack more. Hashgraph's HashFear network may have been shortlisted among the other networks to partake in a digital currency project led by the Reserve Bank of Australia. Funded by the Australian government, Project Acacia explores how digital money can be utilized in wholesale markets. According to the Reserve Bank of Australia, the future of money is on-chain within the blockchain, with Hedera's network coming out as on top as a network enabling such initiatives. And so we talked about this with Algorand too. A lot of different banks have been looking at chains like Algorand and Hedera, XRP, and kind of testing them out. Which one's going to be the leader? Which one's going to work the best? Because Hedera was noted as a permission private network, it seemed Hashgraph's HashFear network may be chosen over Hedera Hashgraph, since Hedera is a public ledger. So interesting. So this is a little different. I didn't know about HashFear. I didn't know a ton about it, but apparently they're going to use the Hedera private network instead of the public one. Australian government's Project Acacia, in collaboration with Digital Finance Cooperative Research Center, has called out HBAR in recent reports for supporting the development of WCBDCs. In recent Project Acacia material, the U.S. has pushed for stablecoin legislation, with the Genius and Stable Acts has influenced Australia's outreach into digital assets. The UK Treasury's draft legislation on digital assets was also considered an influence, with new crypto asset rules in the UK set to help boost crypto adoption in the region in collaboration with the US. And that's what we're really looking for. This they're talking about DeFi and AI too. Oh, interesting. Yeah, actually this is worth reading. But I was talking about it, regulatory clarity is super important, and not just like signaling that it's coming, but actually putting rules on the books. Like, this is what you can do, this is what you can't. That's what institutions want, because they're just not going to take that risk for no reason. And so once those are clarified, I think you're really going to see some major changes in how crypto is handled. Let's see, in recent weeks, Hedera, here, what's mine? In recent weeks, Hedera has rebranded and renamed certain organizations within the HBAR ecosystem. With the rebrand comes a refined focus on enhancing and expanding decentralized finance on Hedera, alongside introducing new AI capabilities and continued enterprise outreach. Recent DeFi tools such as the Hedera Smart Contract Builder by Kabila and the Hedera AI Studio aim to streamline development on Hedera, making it easier for newcomers and non-HBAR devs to create dApps in the ecosystem. So Hedera is really going all in on AI. And I know Algorand's starting to signal that too. Probably for good reason. Maybe Algorand's a little too late, but maybe not. I think both could work really well for this, and especially once Algorand gets P2P, I think they need that, and I think that's coming. Maybe it's here already, I don't know. But one thing I thought was interesting is the Hedera Foundation CEO earlier in the year said that they need to focus more on users, because you can focus on enterprise clients, but enterprise clients want to see users. It's a really important metric for them. So you kind of have to focus on retail at the end. Even if you're focused on enterprise, you still have to focus on retail. I thought that was pretty interesting. Shout out to All In Crypto. He's one of the ones, I haven't watched a ton of his content, but I follow him on X, and I think he's got some pretty good stuff. And speaking of, this is the AI Studio. So let's read a little more about this. Yeah, by the way, Hedera has a partnership with NVIDIA. And I think that's really important. Here, I'm going to move this over. Hedera has announced the upcoming launch of the Hedera AI Studio, an all-in-one open source kit for AI development on HBAR, including Eliza OS, the Hedera Agent Kit. So I guess is that kind of the kind of like Algo Kit, but maybe specifically for AI agents. OpenConv AI and the MCP server tools, the Hedera AI Studio is set to streamline AI agent development. The Studio is the first of its kind all-in-one AI package for developers to make AI agents and automated services with the tools at the ready. Yeah, so this is really cool. From Shaw, founder of Eliza OS, says working with the Hashgraph team has been focused, thoughtful, and execution-oriented. Hedera's infrastructure, built for real-world utility, made it easy for us to deploy and champion the Eliza AI agentic framework. AI Studio is Hedera's way of bridging the gap between organizations in a trusted layer for AI deployment and development on-chain. Yeah, so Eliza OS for natural language interaction, Agent Kit with LangChain support for the agent side, I guess, OpenConv AI for secure agent messaging, real-time logs and tokenization built in, MCP server for connecting to AI to external source. So man, they got this all. They're really all in on the AI. I mean, this is really cool. I think the future is just going to be wild, man. I'm so excited to see how this stuff plays out. Imagine just having your own little team of AI doing all kinds of stuff on the internet for you, and you just sit back and let it do its thing. I'm excited about that, especially like for tools. Like I would love an AI that just like takes my videos and cuts little clips on and puts it to my clip channel and then posts them to X. Like that'd be awesome. That'd save me a lot of time. I'd pay money for that for sure. That'd be worth it. Especially when they can start generating enough revenue to basically pay for themselves. How cool would that be? Have anything else for Hedera? Oh, I forgot that. All right, one more. We'll talk about this. Kabila app has announced the launch of the Hedera contract builder for Web3 developers on HBAR and beyond, opening new wide doors for non-HBAR devs to start deving within the I love this line. Non-HBAR devs to start deving within the growing Hedera ecosystem. And you got a lot of stuff. I saved a lot from All in Crypto. So this is what we talked about. I think this is kind of the this is kind of like Algo Kit, but made for people who don't even have dev experience. Although I didn't go through the whole Algorand workshop, but they had a workshop for like people that was supposed to be for people coming outside of crypto and kind of showing them how they can build on Algorand without really knowing a ton of dev stuff. So I only went through the first module. It was pretty interesting. I do want to get to the other ones. And so it looks kind of like Hedera is kind of doing the same thing, and that's good stuff. This is why, I mean, I think Algorand and Hedera, and I'm not covering any Sui stuff today, but I've been keeping an eye on it. I think they're doing stuff to make it usable for people like that aren't like super duper knee deep in crypto, and I think that's really necessary. I think that's really important. Well, that's enough. That's enough Hedera news. I do want to get to this post, but how's everyone doing? We been a little quiet in the chat. Any piece of news? Oh, I know one thing I just want to like talk about really quick that I left off. Hold on a second here. I'm kicking myself for. Hold on one second. Fractal Monsters has a new rebrand, basically, and they're calling it Fractal Monsters TCG, which is a brand new trading card game built on the Algorand blockchain. let that video play a little bit. So they're gonna have questing, solo, and player versus player, deck building and leveling, NFT forging, and tamer NFTs as avatars. Look at that, man. So basically, like it's like a little version of Hearthstone, or Magic the Gathering. Anybody fans of either any players of Hearthstone or Magic the Gathering in the chat? Let me know. What's your favorite? Anyway, I just want to look through this. It looks so cool. I'm genuinely excited to play this game. I think it looks awesome. And I love those type of games, so I will seriously play this thing. The other one was like okay, like it was kind of fun, but I didn't really. It was like a Tamagotchi and a mix between Pokemon and Tamagotchi, I would say. Which is cool. It was kind of fun, but this was like way more fun. This I like these kind of games, and like it'd be fun to start from scratch, you know, like start from day one basically and play one of these games. You know, because otherwise you always feel like you're catching up on like Magic or then. So this is the kind of the story, by the way. We've been quiet for a while. About 6 months ago, Fractal Labs ran out of funding. It forced us to rethink everything, especially how Fractal Monsters was or wasn't resonating with traditional players. It was time for something different. Fractal TCG isn't just Fractal Monsters with cards. This is a new, clean, polished, new experience that puts gameplay first around blockchain optional. No NFT paywalls, no friction, just a fun, strategic card game built on Fractal brand. Tusk Reaper Gaming says MTG for me. I did get into Splinterlands. Yeah, I did too, actually. In fact, if you go back through my channel, I had a couple videos early on about Splinterlands. So yeah, I remember that one well. What's the difference? Fractal Monsters is a Web3 first game with Web2 tacked on. Fractal TCG flips that. It's a full Web2 game with Web3 features you can opt into. Own your cards, mint NFTs, or just play for fun. The core game is nearly complete. We're now balancing cards and adding polish with the core team. Early access will be rolled out soon. Invites are coming, and I have spoken with them behind the scenes. We are hoping to get early access to this so we can play. He says, and no, we're not abandoning Fractal Monsters. Massive update is coming. All online areas merged into one Explorer mode, a brand new water level, and a merchant moved into online mode. Staking is coming too. You'll be able to stake your monsters and tamers to earn frac. The new TCG in-game currency used for pack opening and NFT minting. I guess they're saying frac will be for that. Your assets now power both games. Oh yeah, so for both. Okay. Thanks for sticking with us through the quiet. Fractal TCG is launching soon. Fractal Monsters is evolving. Yeah, here we are. Actually, I wasn't behind the scenes. I said it here. I said excited, hoping Frugal BC channel can get early access to try it on the channel. Definitely will shoot you a DM once it's ready. And I said, I look forward to it. Yeah, this is going to be fun. I'm pretty excited about this. Also, free starter packs, modes, adventure, solo, multiplayer, arena mode, not yet, but on our radar. Card balancing with 2 months of upcoming testing. Packs use TCG currency, earn via gameplay, NFT staking, or IAP. Early access starts in 2 weeks, full launch. So it's coming in 2 weeks. So we're going to play this pretty soon. Yeah, I'm excited about that. I need to find a video. Let's see. I'm going to play a little video for you guys. I'm going to play my Algorand staking video I'm going to take a little break and then we'll come back and we'll talk about the post. I'm thinking about running an Algorand node. No, I know what you're thinking here. Frugal, come on. This stuff's been out forever. You're way behind the curve, buddy. I get it. But let me explain my process, because I was doing liquid staking through TinyMan and using that to do DeFi, but I actually think I might do better running an Algorand node, because I think we're about to hit a huge price spike. So let me go through my thinking, and I'm going to show you what I've been doing. But before we do that, guys, I'd love it if you'd hit that like and subscribe button. Now remember, you don't have to smash it. You can actually just press it gently, and it works just fine that way too. And by the way, we are brought to you by non-fungible domains. Guys, get that .algo address. It just makes doing everything in Algorand so much easier. Are you gonna remember all those letters and numbers? I'm sure not. That's right, they got vaults, segments, and all kinds of really great features, so check that out. Non-fungible domains, they're in the description right below my silly face. And we're also brought to you by Marcus Aurelius. Guys, this project is so cool. They are spreading the word of stoicism, which has been really important in my life, doing it through a meme coin and NFT project on the Algorand blockchain. They're just always building and doing new things. They're running ready pools. I mean, I can't even keep up with all the stuff they're doing. It's amazing. So do go check them out in the description below. Marcus Aurelius, that's right, Stoic Emperor and a kitty cat combined together. And give a lot of love to both of our sponsors, because they're really cool. I like both of these projects. I really vet them hard. I mean, these are ones that people in the community love, so I know that they're solid. So check them out in the description below. But yeah, let's get back to this, because I think this is really important. It's something I've been thinking about for a while, because there's some stuff I don't like about TinyMan. I mean, I love TinyMan, but the things I don't love about liquid staking, there's some stuff that's a little opaque that I wish was a little more transparent. Like, how do you know what you're getting? You know, you're supposed to be taking advantage of staking through it, but you have no idea how. How do you know? Well, let's take a look. Okay, now a lot of you guys have been following along. Some of your channel members have seen this before anyone else, okay? Because I've been sharing my progress with this, and I'm going to show you my spreadsheet in a second. But this is what I'm doing: Algo UST, and you do that on the staking page, okay? So here it is, and this is what you're supposedly getting. And let me move that over a little bit. Ignore this algo balance. This is just what I got hanging around that isn't put to work here. But and they don't even show you the algo balance. I don't really understand that because I clearly, you saw from my thing, I have it. So, but anyway, 0, 0, it doesn't make a lot of sense. I'll be honest, it doesn't make sense. But supposedly you're getting 5.99% APR. So, you know, not as good as running your own node, but you also don't have to do your own. But then you're also supposed to get 78.25% APR, and that's through various pools, which I'll tell you, the ones that are that high, I wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole. I'm not going to put a huge amount of wealth into meme coins. It's just not going to happen. Okay, guys, you know, USDC, like I said, going back to this one, you know, it's the Algo USDC. Now I've found that with liquidity pools, your safest bet here is anything with USDC in it. That's a good stabilizing factor. Now, how do I know that? Because I actually ran the experiments. That's how I know that. And the one with, at the time, it was Algo USDC, was the most stable. I didn't lose my shirt on it, and you're still making rewards in the meantime, so that's what you want. But yeah, you can see here, I mean, I don't know what I'm making on it. I can't see how my algo is actually doing. Where's those rewards? I don't know. This is one of the reasons why, well, for one of the reasons why I'm doing the pools and earning rewards that way. So through that pool, I'm also earning tiny rewards, and the tiny token has been relatively stable. I'd still rather earn an algo or USDC, but you know, the tiny token, it's been doing pretty well for me, so I can't complain too much. It's been a little low lately. It was almost down to 2 cents. Now it's at 2.5 cents, so not too bad. But it drives me nuts that I can't see the result of this. You know, I have no way to track this, and it drives me nuts. And a lot of people have complained about this, and I think it's a legit complaint because you just don't know how your staking is doing. So let me show you my results. They're a little spotty. All right, so I've been tracking this since February, and I think, was I earning tiny at this? Yes, I was. So this is during tiny. Now I liked it much better. The rewards were so much better when they were before we switched to Algorand staking for the liquidity pools. It just got a lot worse because you just don't make as much tiny as you did Algorand, and there was overlap. It continued for a while, okay, but generally I was making yeah, that one day I made a ton. Well, that was the fees. Rewards, yeah, they were around in February they were around $5-6 every day, and you can see by doing the math they got a lot lower. It was about $3 a day. It's just pretty consistently here. You can see here, yeah, I mean, this is pretty typical right here. You can see $3, $2.85, $2.82. This one's $9 divided by 3 days, so about $3. So it's been between $3.50 and high $2, like 280. I would say 280 to 350 is probably the range there. And, you know, that's not great. Now the other thing is this won't go up. So with Algorand increasing in price, and I think it's going to increase. I think we're finally hitting that big bull run that was supposed to start a long time ago, and it's finally kicking off. I expect the Algorand rewards to get much higher. Let me show you what the equivalent is, because this is about, you know, this is low 5 figures. This is about 10,000. You can see here. You know, it's varied between about 10,000, high 9,000, maybe 9,500 at its very lowest when Algorand was kind of crashing a bit, up to over 10,000. So we're going to say around $10,000 worth. So I did a little math. Oddly enough, this is about how much it would be. It's like, in fact, if I put everything in, it would be 42. So we can use 41,700 because that's actually pretty close to what the Algorand would be if I cashed it in right now. And I'd be getting about 8.6 algo per day. And right now that's about 2 something. So it's a little bit lower than what I'm getting. But if Algorand increases to somewhere in the 30 to 40 cent range, I figured out that would be about $4 a day. So if it doubles, let's just put it this way. If it doubles, I'll be in the $4 range. I'll definitely be making more than I was in LST. Plus, I can actually see the rewards. Now, there are some caveats here because there's also this fee, and you can see the fee is in about another, some days. This one went down. I don't know how it went down somehow, but maybe it was 68.18 and I recorded it wrong. But it's been between about $2 and $4, which is also way worse than I was getting through USDC algo, because that's the most common swap that people are going to make on Tinyman. So you just made the most in fees. It just makes sense. Yeah, I mean, it makes a lot of sense, right? And I haven't done the calculated rewards, but it's been, yeah, about 10 to 13%, and then probably more like 25%. So that's more, but it's also really hard to realize. But this all has to go into the equation. And then there's other factors, like, for example, you have to run a node and you have to keep it running. And if your node gets offline, you've got to go fix that. I don't have to fix anything on liquid staking. Now there's other options. I could put it all in a ready pool, which I'll make less, but okay, coming back. There we go. I don't need this on anymore. Yeah, I just wanted to pay that to give myself a little break, and since then I've actually decided I think I'm actually going to probably put everything in a ready pool, because I did some math afterwards and I realized that at maybe $1 I'm still making a little less, I think. Hold on, let me see I wrote it down here. Actually I'm probably making about the same, if not a little more, at $1 algo, and then $2 and $3 algo. It's like a crazy amount per month that I'd be making. So it's a little bit of a bet because I'm betting that it's going to go up, right? But I think it will. So anyway, if you want to watch the full video, you can check that out on my channel. It's my latest video. And I thought I'd play that a little bit just to give my voice a little bit of a rest. And now we can get into this. So let me pull up this post. I'm just going to give like some light feedback because John couldn't be here today to talk about this. But I really do think this is worth talking about. Okay, hold on. Let me... and this is kind of one of the last things we'll do today, I think. So this is the CEO or the co-founder of Transaction Labs, and you know he's behind Non-Fungible Domains, which is a sponsor of the channel and one of our favorite projects on Algorand. Anyway, okay, so organic versus forced meta rant. The current Algorand Foundation marketing strategy of paying shills to KOLs to promote forced narratives like RWAs is a complete failure, in my opinion. What does it take to be a crypto KOL? No actual opinions, thought leadership, be retarded, immoral, bought $100,000 Twitter followers or buy account, business email and bio. So, and one of the things I was going to ask him is who specifically he was talking about. I know Algorand recently funded some videos on Crypto Wendio's channel. She made a couple of them. I mean, they were nearly identical, you know, which she posted on her own channel. And they weren't bad videos. I mean, they were all true. I'm sure they gave her the talking points to cover, but I didn't necessarily have a problem with that per se. Like, I don't know how much they cost. And I've told you guys in the past that the foundation I recently contracted with them to make some videos for their channel. which has been interesting. I've recorded 2 videos. One had to be scrapped because it was about FIFA, and the other one was supposed to go live this week. I'm just gonna check really quick to see if it is. See if it's live, because the amount of time between videos is kind of surprising to me. I've got this pulled up on another tab. Oops, sorry. Well, if you pull up Algorand right now, my live video, well, it is for me. Oh, they put up another video. They didn't put up my video. Bummer.
Hey, morning. Hey.
So Lark Davis did too, but he stated it was paid by
You guys take
Algo.
Bitcoin.
And yeah, that was my concern. Like, I wanted to make sure, like, these videos, like, it'd be obvious it's me, which it is. You know, because I said, well, I always disclose to my followers if I'm, you know, where the funding is coming from. I don't want people to think I made these organically. And they're like, yeah, it'll be obvious that we contracted with you. So, and I told them I'd be disclosing it, which I did. Yeah, they didn't, hold on. Hold on a second here. Yeah. Yeah, so here's the videos page, and they just posted this one 2 hours ago about why I build on Algorand. So my video is about World Chess and why I'm excited about it. And I am. Like, I'm not going to do a video that isn't true. And I am really genuinely excited about, but this is not the video I made. I made one with my face in it. I am really excited about the World Chess, so I didn't have a problem talking about it. And I pitched a couple other ones I haven't heard back. I'm not sure what's going on there. They paid me for them, so you know, they're welcome to use them as soon as they want, but they haven't yet, and I hope they will soon. So I don't think he was talking about me, just to be clear. I actually don't know what a KOL is exactly. I mean, I know directionally what it refers to, but I don't know what defines a KOL. I know I don't have 100,000 Twitter followers, bots or otherwise. He believes that people are bad for the space. I kind of agree. There are a lot of people who just shill coins. I mean, BitBoy Crypto was the worst of them. He definitely rugged his followers. I mean, I think that was pretty obvious. He said they take advantage of people not knowing their accounts are botted and their posts are paid for. So I always disclose that stuff. I disclose my sponsors, you know, and like I said, I vet them really hard because to me, my reputation is worth a lot more than a few extra bucks. It just is. Also, hi to Chicago on Twitch. I chatted back to you, but just want to make sure I'm giving you a shout out. Appreciate you being here. Yeah, so that's fraudulent. Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's fair. He says it's not only deceitful, but it's also fraudulent. You're paying to make it seem like there's more activity than there really is, with the hopes of tricking people into buying the coin. I think that's totally fair. The one caveat I would give is that if everyone else is doing it, then you kind of have to do it too. Otherwise, it looks like nobody's talking about it. So it's a hard line, right? It's like you get punished for doing the right thing. But we'll get back. Yeah. Anyway, so he said a good example is the last Twitter space Algorand Foundation did on RWAs. It was a super boring space that had on multiple AF employees, 2 paid shills, and 1 community member talking about a forced narrative, RWAs. We're gonna unpack that in a second, which the Algorand Foundation is trying to cram down everyone's throats. I'm gonna come back to that because I want to stick on this. Getting back to the paid shills, I'm frankly disgusted that the community gets zero support while these botted fake accounts get thousands of dollars for garbage copy and paste. If our community was being taken care of, then it's a different story, and I'd feel fine paying for some disclosure marketing. But ethical should always be the first priority. Everything else comes second. I will say the Crypto Wendio one, like it seemed pretty obvious that it was paid for. I guess I guess it didn't actually say that. Actually, to be fair, actually, I don't remember. But I remember I saw it and I was like, yeah, they obviously paid for this. Like this isn't a this very clearly was not an organic post. But like I said, nothing they said was untrue. So I maybe don't have as much of a problem as John does with this. But while I say that, um I'm not going to do that myself. Like anything you see from me, if it's paid for, I'm going to say it's paid for. And the fact that's why I was okay with this partnership with the foundation, because they're going to put it on their channel. If it was going to go in my channel, I'd say, hey, by the way, guys, this is a paid post. And I haven't done like paid specific posts. I just do monthly sponsorships, but I'm open to it if it's something that I can vet and make sure is like something I would actually believe in. But I haven't really gotten those too much. All right, so let's go back up because I want to talk about this RWA thing. A good example is the last Twitter space. He said it was a RWAs. It's a forced narrative which the Algorand Foundation is trying to cram down everyone's throats. RWAs aren't new. Well, sure. Algorand isn't leading in them. Yeah, we have USDC and Lofty. That's great. But tokenized coffee beans and flight miles are not moving the needle. Ethereum, Solana, Ondo is where I see real RWA traction. Why? Because institutions don't just want technical superiority. They need liquidity, TVL, network effects, integrations, and a clear path to ROI. And that's not Algorand right now. This is one I'm not so sure on. I think Algorand is doing great things in RWAs, and we keep seeing more and more of these projects. So I don't know. I guess it's tough. I guess it's tough because I just don't. I think this is the stuff that Algorand does that I get really excited about. Like I said, I want to dive more into Ondo because I think they've focused really specifically on tokenizing financial instruments, like they have treasuries that are online. I think that's that have been tokenized. I think that's a pretty cool thing. I really do want to look into that. I mean, Ethereum, Ethereum and Solana, like they might have that narrative, but I just don't see tokenization working well on Ethereum when you have to pay so much in fees to do anything. And Solana just isn't reliable. So I know what he's saying. I just don't know that I agree with it. Snail says, I'll leave the worrying to people like this. There are plenty of people in the world that have zero clue even what Bitcoin is, and we're expecting what? Yeah. And Snail, I was wondering where you were, man. Good to have you here. Good to have you here. Let me think. Yeah, I don't know. This gets into a broader question, and this is why I wanted to have John on. Is like I wanted to talk about like, should a blockchain just focus on the technology and let the use cases decide? Let the market kind of decide what it should be used for, and then maybe pivot in that direction when it becomes obvious? Or should a chain be hyper focused on, hey, this is what we do? Like Ondo Finance is like, we tokenize financial instruments. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. It's a question worth posing, I think, for sure. And then he said, okay, so let's get back to this Nagaraju Tadakaluri, welcome to the show. Algo going to the moon. Well, I hope so. I'll take $2-3. I'll be happy with that. That will do very well for me. Thanks for weighing in, and good to see you too, Snail. Glad you're here. So I have another thought to add. Oh wait, okay. Why not you? As in, the Algorand Foundation has 50 to 70-ish employees. Why the f do you need more to pay more people to tweet? It literally takes a few minutes to have a thought and write it. It's either they don't care, don't have thoughts, don't care to write it. I don't know, but it's uninspiring and leads to my next point. That Algorand Foundation should reduce headcount to 10 to 20 people. Hyperliquid, an L1 and L2 doing 2 million in fees every day. That's a lot. With a $25 billion FDV, has less than a dozen employees. The output in comparison to what Algorand Foundation with 50 to 70 employees is embarrassing. This is super interesting. This is a really interesting point because when John Woods was on the show, and this was, a couple 3 years ago, he said Algorand was doing about 2 million per year in fees. I think it's probably more now, but this is 2 million per day. And I haven't verified this. I don't know anything about Hyperliquid. It seems interesting for sure, but $2 million in fees, now that's sustainable. 2 million a year is not sustainable for an organization the size of the foundation. So I don't know. The foundation is growing. I do get the sense that maybe this is where I struggle, and I'm glad to have these numbers because I really don't know about other chains and like what their staffing looks like. It'd be worth looking into at some point, going to their website and just seeing how many people are listed. But this does seem like a big number, and that's a pretty big payroll to maintain. But I don't know, like maybe they're all doing crucial work. I really have no idea. Maybe John knows better than me. It's possible. It says, Snail says, I love blockchains, all blockchains, but there are superior ones. We can all agree blockchain is better than traditional banking. Yeah, I know. I agree. No, I think it is. I think you're right. Well, yeah, some of it might be a toss-up. You think like Ethereum with the fees that are so high, it's like, is this really better? I'm not sure. I guess it's still faster, probably less fee. You probably pay more fees in Ethereum depending on the transaction than you would through a traditional bank. That's worth thinking about. But I think a good majority of them are probably better than traditional banks. The Algorand Foundation is growing as the Algorand community is shrinking. So this is another bone of it. This is another bone I had to pick because I'm not sure that's true. I see like numbers going up on terms of like monthly active users and number of wallets created, all that kind of stuff. So I'm not 100% sure that's true. I'm not 100% sure it's not true, but I think we have evidence pointing to the contrary. That's after, and I don't know how long that can go on. Projects are dying because they have no resources funding available, yet Algorand Foundation has no problem hiring more people in-house to do what they think is best, which has historically turned out, ? Okay, so Test Creeper Gaming says, Crypto Wendio did it disclose in the description that she partnered with Algorand and said it was a generous contribution, just to put a point on that one. Yeah, no, fair enough. I just couldn't remember. I remember it being at least very obvious that it was a paid post. I didn't watch it and think it was organic. Yeah, I guess I could have looked at it, huh? Let's pull that up. No, I believe you. I might have seen, I probably saw it at the time. I just couldn't remember off the top of my head. But like I said, I didn't watch it and think, oh, how dare you? You know what I mean? Let's see. Crypto. Algorand. Do. See, in this one, she said, so today we have partnered with Algorand. So that's okay. So that's a partnership. I should put a lot of hashtags in there. Okay. I have to keep that in mind. But there was 2, so let me check the other one. She didn't necessarily say it was paid, but she said we partnered with Algorand, and I think I think we all know what that means. Interesting that she did 2 of them. Today we have partnered with, wait. Come on, computer. It won't let me expand. Well, I'm just gonna like. I gotta say, like, I've had interactions with Crypto Wendio. I've had interactions with Crypto Wendio, and I think she seems pretty cool. Today we have partnered with Algorand to discuss Algo's unique clean energy staking. So I don't see where she's saying that she got paid necessarily. She does say she partnered. I think, and fair enough. Did she say that in the video? I'm not gonna watch. I've reacted to it, as you can see. There's my reaction. Didn't get a lot of views. I think this was oh yeah. Yeah, so that was a clip. So 500 for a clip is not bad. Michael Cruz says fighting your own bags. I'm just telling how it is, man. Also, this is correct. I had an argument on Twitter about this, about ISO 20022. I don't think it's not a scam, it's just a misnomer. But I see why, you put scam so it gets attention. I get it. I get it. Please note section. Oh, okay. Hold on. I must have missed it. Partner. Oh yeah, please note, in consideration for producing content, the company made a generous contribution to support Crypto Wendy's social channels. All right, fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I agree. Like, I didn't watch it and think, oh gosh, this is paid, but it, I didn't think it was not a paid post. Like, it didn't seem like an organic one. So, and she has almost 250,000 subs, so she's a pretty big channel. The video got like 22,000 views. How does that compare? Wait, hold on. Actually, let me see. Yeah, and the other one got 33,000. Is that pretty typical for her? Actually, that's pretty good for her. Well, is this her? Yeah, those are good videos for her. Like, she doesn't have a lot that are more than that. I've seen a couple that. Yeah, actually, that was one of her biggest videos because you don't see a lot in the 33,000 range. You see some in the 20,000 range. Anyway, I just thought that was interesting. Like I said, I don't really have a problem with it. So I don't fully agree. I think you should be selective which ones. I think Crypto Wendio, like, overall, I think her stuff is pretty solid. She did run cover for. Oh no. No. Don't be bringing those side tokens on here. Okay, we gotta hold on. Nope, that's instant ban. Are my mods in here? Otherwise, I can just get rid of them. Hold on. No. I gotta get rid of this. Oh, is it gone already? Looks like you got rid of them already. Cool. Good job, guys. You said the magic words. Appreciate it, Snail. CMDR Viriatus says, what's the good news? Welcome to the show. We are just wrapping up, but we just went through a whole bunch of Algorand news. So if you want to rewind and watch it, I would highly recommend it. The main thing I would say is the Pera Wallet MasterCard thing going live. It's not in the US, but it's in others. So very cool. I wonder how big the India's women's financial inclusion thing on Algo would be. Yeah, good question. I don't know. I know one of the reasons I like Hisab Pay is that it's definitely doing that in not India but Afghanistan, and they're supposed to they announced that they were going to be expanding, so that's super cool. Very excited about that. So anyway, yeah, I thought it was an interesting post. A lot of food for thought. Like I said, I don't agree with everything he said on here. There's definitely some stuff that I disagree with. I think Algorand Foundation should be careful who it's paying. Way back, I did want to touch on this bit. I kind of missed it. Where was it? He said that the community gets zero support, and so I think that's changed recently. I like that the foundation has been working with me more because they didn't seem to care much about me, like say back in the Decipher days. I couldn't get interviews with people. When I went to Decipher, I thought they would have like some consideration for considering how many YouTubers were coming, and I think we all made it known that we were going. Mostly thanks to NifGen, which is no longer in existence, as far as I know. No thanks to the foundation. Not that I didn't want them to fund it. It would have been nice, like, to get maybe a comp ticket because we were there to cover it and work. But so is everyone else. So I don't know. I think they probably they should have had media passes, I think, or at least like a discounted YouTuber pass or something. I think would have been good. I actually went to the media door and they said I was at the wrong place. I'm like, well, YouTube is media. And the gal that was running was like, I think it's cooler. I'm like, well, thanks. Appreciate that. Yeah, I just felt like it wasn't really, it was like we didn't exist almost. It seemed to be a little bit different in this latest Decipher, which I did not go to. It seemed like that one was set up in a way that I think they had like a booth for interviews for YouTubers. I saw AJ took advantage of that, which is pretty cool. So I think I probably would have had a different experience. Snail says, you showed your perseverance and secured the spot as the #1 alco creator. I like to think so. I mean, I don't think, I mean, AJ has a bigger following, but he's also not exclusively Algorand. And I'm not either, but I think Algorand is my main thing. I would say it's like top 5 for him because he covers VeChain a lot and Hedera and some other coins. You've earned where you're at, bro. Enjoy. I appreciate that. You know, I just want to keep getting bigger, to be honest. But I also like I'm glad you brought that up because like at some point you just have to kind of enjoy where you're at too. You know, I think that's the secret to happiness is like it's okay to strive for things, but you got to take time. And I most people look too far ahead or too far back, and I think you got to focus in the present as much as possible. And I think honestly, I think people just think too far ahead or they think too far back. And neither one, it's good to do that sometimes. And you definitely got to think like long term and think out in the future, but you got to take some time to enjoy where you're at, you know? Because the thing is, there's a such thing as a rival fallacy where you think I'm going to be happy when I get to this spot or that spot. And honestly, man, when I started this, I didn't think I'd get close to 6,000 subscribers or have this be like a real significant income source. You know, I had no idea. I didn't with my newsletter either. It was both of them were, I was just going to try them out and see what happens. And most people I think are weighted to either think in the future too much or think in the past too much. And so the balance is, and, you know, trying to focus on the present a little more. Tusk Reaper Gaming says, you're honest. For me, that's huge. I appreciate that. I mean, that's what I tried to build this channel on. And, you know, it means that growth is going to be slower, but also more sustainable and more real, frankly. Yeah. So, well, anyway, guys, appreciate you tuning in. Thanks everyone for watching the channel and for all your support. If you're still watching and you haven't hit the like and subscribe button, please do so. And always helps the channel, helps everyone else, helps me, you know. Help spread the word about Algorand and some of these other coins. Like I said, I really like Hedera too, so I want to spread that more too. I really trying to, my main focus, I really want to focus on utility coins primarily. And I'm interested in, like I said, I kind of want to look into Ondo a little more too, because that one's kind of catching my attention. Snail says, much love all, stay safe. Appreciate you being here, Snail. Appreciate everybody. I hope you all have a good weekend. Labor Day weekend coming up next weekend, so that'll be fun. And